supporters. Well, I don't know what it is about this league. And I don't know what it is about Angel Reese. And whether she's with the Chicago Sky or the Rose BC.
Imagine being one of the most hyped players in women's basketball, only to find out you might be your team's biggest problem. That's the reality Angel Reese is facing right now, and it's not pretty. From airballs to flops to losses that just won't stop, we're about to take you on a journey through Angel Reese's unrivaled season that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about basketball stardom. Remember when Angel Reese was the talk of women's basketball? She was supposed to be the next big thing, the one who'd change the game forever. But hold on, because this story's about to take a wild turn.
Angel Reese might be well known. Angel Reese may be a star on social media, but there's a huge difference between a star and a draw. The truth is, Angel Reese is not a draw.
You see, Angel Reese was more than just a player. She was a marketing machine. Unrivaled League banked on her to draw in the crowds. They thought, hey, we've got Angel Reese. We're set for life. But sometimes things don't go according to plan.
We've talked about this before. We witnessed it firsthand. WNBA season last year. Angel Reese, the rise of the double-double streak. My goodness, it captured the hearts and imagination of thousands of people. Not tens of thousands, thousands of people. And of course, while that double-double streak was reaching its climax, we watched the Chicago Sky go from being in firm WNBA playoff contention to spiraling down what can only be described as the basketball version of a toilet.
And now, don't get me wrong, Reese is still putting up numbers. She's scoring, she's rebounding, she's doing all the things that made her famous in college. But something's off. Can you feel it? It's like watching a movie where the main character is doing things right, but the plot just doesn't make sense.
Again, what is it about Angel having real production, putting up points, and her teams always losing? At this point, she is victory repellent.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Reese joined Rose BC in the Unrivaled League, and everyone thought, okay, this is it. She's gonna dominate from day one. But reality hit hard, and it hit fast. Rose BC keeps losing and losing and losing some more. And you might be thinking, wait, how is this possible? Angel Reese is on the team.
The Rose BC. It's a terrible name. It really is. Well, Angel Reese plays for said team, and I don't know what it is about Angel Reese. When she puts up real productive numbers, her teams lose. Whether it's the Chicago Sky or the Rose BC.
But here's the thing, stats don't always tell the whole story. You can score 30 points a game and still not help your team win. It's like being the best dancer at a party where no one else knows how to dance. Sure, you look good, but the party's still a flop. Now you might be wondering, is Angel Reese really living up to all that hype? Or is she just putting up empty stats, like a basketball mirage? You know, those players who look great on paper, but somehow their team always loses when they're on the court.
Last night, kind of an efficient game from Angel Reese. Not the greatest three-point shooter in the world, by the way. And even with all those produced videos she's put out in the lab practicing her long-range shot. And they, for whatever reason, after she poured 19 points on the floor the other day and is an obvious offensive spark plug, and we saw that with the Indiana Fever, Lexi Hull was largely sidelined last night, too, by the Rose BC. So, Angel Reese goes off, and they lose.
Alright, you might think you've got Angel Reese all figured out, but hold on, because this story's about to take a wild turn. You won't believe what's happening with Rose BC and their supposed superstar. So here's the deal. Rose BC, Reese's new team in the Unrivaled League, can't seem to catch a break. They're losing games left and right. And get this, Reese is putting up solid numbers while it's happening. Can you believe it? In her latest game, she dropped 17 points and snagged 7 rebounds. But guess what? Rose BC still took another L.
You can see right here, 3 for 5 from the field. My goodness. Goodness gracious. 17.7 boards, right? Lexi Hull, 9 minutes. 9 damn minutes? That's all you could give her? 9 minutes, 7 points last night. So as you can see, they took the big fat L.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how bad can it really be? Well, let me tell you, it's not pretty. It's like Reese has some kind of victory repellent. The more she scores, the more likely her team is to lose. It's wild, right? We've seen this before, though. Players who rack up stats but can't seem to help their team win. Think Andre Drummond or Ben Simmons. Big names, big numbers, but not always big impacts.
If she goes off, if she does her best Andre Drummond, her teams lose, and that's all there is to it.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Rose BC has lost 3 of 4 games since Unrivaled began. 3 games. That's not just bad luck. That's starting to look like a pattern. Now, you might be wondering, is it just a coincidence? Or is there something more going on here? Because here's the thing. We can see Reese's numbers on the stat sheet, but what's happening behind the scenes? What's going on in the locker room, on the practice court that's making Rose BC struggle so much with their superstar on the court?
I mean, honestly, you put her on the court, you keep her out there too long, you're screwed. You're going to lose a basketball game. Wow. My goodness. The female embodiment of Andre Drummond and Ben Simmons put together. With long hair.
Is there a secret factor we're all missing that could explain why Reese's individual brilliance isn't translating to team success? You thought we were done with the Angel Reese saga? Think again, because we're about to dive into the real reason Rose BC can't catch a break. It's not just about Reese's stats. There's something way bigger going on here.
Looks, different combinations. How you approach this is different without Alyssa Thomas, but that also gives you a challenge to approach it with.
I liked his confidence.
Picture this. Reese steps up to take a three-pointer. The crowd holds its breath, and then air ball. Embarrassing, right? But here's where it gets really weird. The announcers, they act like it never happened.
You noticed something about this? And somebody pointed it out. The damn announcers pretended Angel Reese didn't just airball 3. Right here. CDS Sports Podcast called him out for it. The announcers simply pretended Angel Reese airball on the 3 didn't happen.
Can you believe it? They just glossed right over it like it was no big deal. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so the announcers messed up. Big deal. But hold on, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. The whole Unrivaled league seems to be fumbling when it comes to marketing. I mean, who names a team Rose BC? Sounds more like a vitamin supplement than a basketball team.
The Rose BC, where did they come up with the names in this league? They're awful. They're terrible. But the one thing we know that women's basketball is not comfortable with, good marketing. They don't get down with Caitlin Clark or good marketing.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember how we were wondering what's happening behind the scenes with Rose BC? Well, it turns out the problem starts way before the players even step on the court. The Unrivaled League's bizarre naming choices are just the beginning. You see, the league can't seem to figure out how to promote their star players. It's like they're scared of success or something. And get this, they're making the same mistakes the WNBA did with Caitlin Clark. Instead of embracing their biggest stars, they're acting like they're toxic.
I mean, Caitlin Clark comes in the WNBA, their cash cow shows up. They avoid her like she's got some kind of disease. Yeah, they think Caitlin Clark is the COVID. And so the whole league just has tried to stay away from her as much as humanly possible when they should be entirely leaning in. They don't know how to market themselves. They don't even know how to name teams.
Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with Angel Reese's performance? Everything. Because when a league can't even get the basics right, how can they expect their players to shine? And let's talk about those attendance numbers. You know how many people showed up to watch Reese's latest airball? Thousands, not millions. Thousands. It's like the league is allergic to success.
Could you hit a rim? Could you not airball to the thousands of people that's watching on TV? Not the hundreds of thousands, the thousands watching on TV.
All right, get this. You know how we talked about those embarrassingly empty arenas? Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because here's where it gets really wild. Angel Reese isn't just putting up numbers in front of a handful of fans. She's doing it in a league that seems to be actively trying to fail.
Y'all's attendance situation, it doesn't look great. It comes across looking terrible on. It's a pretty poor looking product on television from an attendance standpoint. Like what they should have done, pulled an AEW here, put a bunch of seats back here, and packed everybody on this one back side so everybody thinks the arena is actually full.
Now, you might be thinking, wait, what? Why would a league want to fail? And that's exactly the right question, because here's the thing. The Unrivaled League isn't just bad at marketing. It's like they're scared of their own success. Remember how we said Reese was averaging some impressive stats? Well, let's break that down for a second. She's scoring, sure, but her shooting percentage? Yikes! It's like watching a kid try to throw popcorn into their mouth from across the room. Sometimes it works, but most of the time, it's just a mess.
And you got people out here, folks, people are big mad. Did you point out the long 3 points she made, or did you just want to cake Clark? I mean, man, that escalated quickly. These Angel Reese fans they turn vicious real fast, don't they?
And here's where it gets really interesting. You know how in the NBA, guys like Andre Drummond put up big numbers, but their teams still lose? Well, Reese is turning into the women's basketball version of that. Big stats, zero impact. It's like she's cursed or something. But here's the real kicker. The league doesn't seem to care. It's like they're allergic to success. They've got a star player who's getting attention for all the wrong reasons, and they're doing nothing to solve the problem. Can you believe that?
That is exactly what, when she gets all those damn rebounds for the Sky when she keeps getting misses, instead of putting up those layups over and over again, if she's not going to spend the time to actually get good at layups, she needs to pass it back out, right? Now that she's driving, she actually passed the ball out to an open person for a shot. That's good basketball.
Now, you might be wondering, what's really going on here? Is there something we're missing? And let me tell you, you're on to something, because this whole mess isn't just about Reese or her air balls, or even those empty arenas. There's something bigger at play. Remember Kate Martin, Caitlin Clark's old teammate? She decided to give Reese a taste of her own medicine, and boy, did it backfire spectacularly.
So, last night, Kate Martin, who's pretty tight, we know, with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese got a little bit of her own medicine last night from Kate Martin. Now, she flopped around on the ground like she's LeBron's play cousin out there, because we know he's the ultimate flopper.
Tries to say ball don't lie. Driving the other way, and Martin got a piece of Reese.
Picture this. Martin goes in for a play, barely touches Reese, and suddenly, bam, Reese is on the ground, rolling around like she's auditioning for a soccer team. Can you believe it? It's like watching LeBron's long-lost cousin out there. The internet, they're having an absolute field day with this one.
Here we go. There's slow motion action, and there was barely any contact, but sure, fall on the ground and start flopping around. Back, front, over, flip around like you're an egg in a... Why not?
But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about Reese making a fool of herself on national TV. Nope, this is about something way bigger. You see, this flop, it's a symptom of a much deeper problem in the Unrivaled League. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so Reese flop. Big deal. It happens all the time in basketball. But hold on a second, because this isn't just any old flop. This is a cry for help. Yeah, you heard that right.
So she was driving to the basket, and there were people that thought even if she'd have made it to, she wasn't going to make the basket. Oh yeah, she was all over the place right there. That wasn't going in. If she hadn't gotten fouled, it didn't matter.
Remember how we talked about those empty arenas and how Reese keeps putting up numbers but her team can't win? Well, all of that is connected to this one moment, because when Reese hit that floor, she wasn't just trying to draw a foul. She was showing us just how desperate things have gotten in this league.
I will give Angel Reese credit for this. This is her play of the night right here. This is what she needs to do a lot more of for the Sky, for the Rose. That nice little pass out to Lexi Hull, who knocked down the three-pointer.
And get this, the league's response to all of this? Crickets. It's like they're pretending it never happened. Just like how those announcers ignored Reese's airball. But you can't ignore a flop this big. It's like trying to pretend an elephant isn't in the room when it's sitting on your couch eating all your peanuts. So now we've got to ask ourselves, is this what Reese's game has come to? Is this what the unrivaled league is all about? Because if it is, we've got a much bigger problem on our hands than just one player's theatrics.
I know the contract is 6 years, but I would assume, or at least I would hope, TNT has performance clauses in the contract, because otherwise they are screwed.
So there you have it, folks. Angel Reese's journey from college superstar to, well, whatever this is. Can you believe how quickly things can change in the world of basketball? 1 minute you're on top of the world, the next you're flopping around like a fish out of water.
Just when you thought ratings for Unrivaled could not get any lower, America sends a clear message. Actually, America sent them a clear reminder. We're not interested in watching pretend basketball.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Is Reese's story a cautionary tale about the dangers of hype, or is this just a rough patch on the road to greatness? Now you might be thinking, okay, but what's the big lesson here? Well, let me tell you, in the world of basketball, stats aren't everything. Just ask Rose BC. They've got a player putting up big numbers, but those numbers aren't translating to wins. It's like having a fancy sports car that can't turn left. Looks great in the garage, but not much use on the road.